When will you finally die? He slammed the door. Grumbling under his breath, Igor left the bedroom. Behind the closed door, his wife was coughing, a terrible, relentless cough that had stolen the life from her young body. In just 1 year of marriage, she had withered from a vibrant young woman into a fragile shadow of herself. Their small town had a modest hospital, just 2 doctors, a paramedic, and a veterinarian. People trusted the vet more. The paramedic simply shrugged at Rita's illness. He had tried everything: cough syrups, mustard plasters, plantain leaves, chamomile, nettle, steam baths in the sauna every other day. Nothing helped. Rita only grew worse. Why didn't you tell me she was practically a corpse? Igor once exploded in a fit of rage. I used to be perfectly healthy. Rita tried to defend herself, her voice barely more than a whisper. She didn't understand what was happening to her. Once full of life and joy, now it felt as if marriage itself had cursed her. They jinxed her, the villagers whispered, gathered by the store or at the water pump, always ready to pass judgment. Rita had married Igor at 20. He was 2 years older, charming, full of city stories, able to sweep any girl off her feet. Rita had been no exception. Igor arrived from the city, claiming he wanted to breathe new life into their sleepy village. He found a job delivering bread, charming everyone with his easy smiles. What a treasure your Rita found, the women would sigh to each other, going home to scold their own husbands. Rita, though, had been happy with her simple life. She didn't want the city lights or big dreams. And yet, ever since their wedding, this strange illness had clung to her. Every day, she grew weaker. Coughing, struggling to breathe, she would wake up at night, gasping for air, her panic waking Igor, who only grumbled about losing sleep, then turned over and began to snore. If this story is resonating with you so far, take a moment to leave a soft like. It helps more than you know. Rita, feeling like an unwelcome burden, would move to the couch to let him sleep. She went to work at the village library, where even simple tasks left her drained. Meanwhile, Igor, after a few morning bread deliveries, would laze at home, waiting for dinner. At least peel some potatoes, Igor, she pleaded one evening. Later, he muttered, annoyed. You think driving bread around is easy? I need rest too. Though Rita knew the truth, he hardly lifted a finger at work, relying on loaders at every stop. She didn't have the strength to argue. Her cough worsened. Redness appeared in her eyes, and a strange rash began to cover her skin. Igor, noticing the red spots one morning, recoiled. You're not contagious, are you? He grumbled, slamming the door and leaving without breakfast. From that day on, he volunteered for night shifts, eager to spend less time at home. If you've ever known the pain of feeling invisible, forgotten, you're not alone. Stay with me. But sometimes he'd be home, and those nights were the worst. Rita would suffocate under the weight of his disdain and the burden of her sickness. Her body was wasting away before everyone's eyes. Neighbors whispered and watched as she dragged herself to the library. Rita, let's go to the city, please, urged her friend Svetlana. There, real doctors will see you. Rita only shook her head. I'll rest. I'll get better. But even Rita knew it wasn't true. Svetlana hesitated, then confessed. I saw your Igor with another woman from the city. Though she pretended to smile, Rita had long suspected it. The lipstick stains, the sudden bursts of guilt. Still, she said nothing. What could she say when she barely had the strength to breathe? If you're feeling a stir of emotion, if you're rooting for Rita, don't forget, you can hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next part of her story. But then, Rita fell seriously ill. For 2 whole days, she couldn't even get out of bed. Fever burned her skin, the coughing tore through her frail body, and the rash had spread everywhere. When will you finally die? Igor spat one night, unable to hide his disgust any longer. He was in love with another woman now, a woman who demanded his full attention. And Igor, seeing no future in the village, longed to leave. Yet he couldn't. His grand tales about a city apartment had been nothing but lies. In truth, he had nothing, only a bad reputation, a past of stealing fuel from his old job, and a desperate need to escape. Rita had been his salvation, a naive country girl who even gave him half the house she had inherited from her grandmother. Rita heard voices in the hallway. "Come in, buddy," Igor was saying. "Solid little place, right?" "And who lives in the other half?" a stranger asked. "An old lady, sick. Won't last long," Igor replied without shame. They shook hands. Money exchanged hands. The door slammed. "I have to get out of here," Rita decided. She struggled to stand, stumbled, and collapsed into a chair. The crash brought a stranger rushing into the room. "Alive?" he asked, concerned, gently helping her back onto the bed. "Where does it hurt?" "Who are you?" Rita gasped, her cough forgotten for a moment. "The new owner of this half of the house," the man answered, taken aback. He had expected an old woman, not a fragile young soul fighting to stay alive. "I live here," Rita whispered sadly. "I'm Taras," he said, holding out a hand. She flinched, embarrassed by the rash on her skin, but Taras gently took her wrist, studying the marks with a frown. "And how long has this been happening?" he asked. "You a doctor or something?" Rita coughed. "Almost," he smiled. "Let's just say I've seen worse. If you believe that, sometimes, even in the darkest moments, fate sends you the right person. You're absolutely right." Taras returned with a glass of water. "Drink slowly," he said, his voice like a balm. The water soothed her throat, and for a moment, the cough subsided. Rita found herself talking, telling him everything, the marriage, the sickness, the hopelessness. In turn, Taras shared his story. He was no villain. A former paramedic, he had taken the fall after a tragic accident, a patient who died from an allergic reaction due to a doctor's mistake. The courts demanded someone to blame. His own life had crumbled, divorce, loss, loneliness. "When I saw the ad for this house," he said, "I thought I'd finally caught a bit of luck." They both laughed quietly at the cruel twists of fate. If you're touched by this unlikely bond forming, a simple like on this video would mean a lot. Small gestures can change lives. Taras quickly became Rita's unexpected savior. He helped her with the house, cooked simple meals, even brought fresh air into her days with his quiet, steady presence. When the village paramedic finally left town, tired of the lonely life, Taras took his place at the hospital. "Margot," he said one evening. He had started calling her by the affectionate nickname. "I've been thinking, why don't you come to the clinic? I have a few ideas about your illness." Rita hesitated, but deep down she had noticed it too. Her cough had become lighter. Her cheeks, once ghostly pale, now showed a soft blush. Maybe, just maybe. In the end, Taras gently insisted, and Rita found herself traveling with him to the city to visit a specialist he trusted. After a series of tests, the diagnosis came. Rita suffered from an extraordinarily rare allergy to her husband, more precisely to his biological material. If she had stayed with Igor much longer, her body would likely have succumbed to anaphylactic shock. "Your whole being was protesting against him," Taras teased lightly as they left the clinic. "I didn't even know something like that existed," Rita whispered, half laughing, half crying. "If it weren't for you," she began, her voice thick with emotion, but Taras just smiled and squeezed her hand. "If you've ever believed that walking away from the wrong person can save your life, you'll understand Rita's relief. If you're finding hope here, don't forget to tap that heart." Away from Igor, Rita blossomed once more. Her energy returned. Her laughter filled the little house. She almost forgot she had ever been sick or married to a man who had only brought her misery. Taras watched over her recovery with a tenderness that needed no words. Slowly, naturally, their bond deepened into something more. One evening, as they sat sharing a quiet dinner, Taras pushed a small box across the table toward her. Rita opened it, gasping. "A ring?" "Yes, a ring," he chuckled warmly. "But I'm still married," she said, surprised. Taras smiled. "That can be fixed. You have no children. The divorce will be quick, just a few papers." Indeed, it took just 2 court hearings. Igor never appeared. The judge granted the divorce by default, and a month later, Rita and Taras stood side by side, exchanging vows in a small ceremony filled with hope, laughter, and promises. As Rita leaned against him that night, she whispered, laughing, "I'm so glad I'm not allergic to you." If you believe everyone deserves a second chance at happiness, you're in the right place. Let's keep walking this beautiful journey together. A few months later, someone knocked on the door. Rita, now busy preparing a small dinner and carrying the glow of new life within her, heard her husband go to answer it. Standing at the threshold was a ghost from the past. It was Igor, disheveled, unshaven, reeking of stale alcohol, wrapped in a tattered jacket. "Hey, man," he slurred at Taras. "Well, did the old lady kick the bucket yet? Should have happened a long time ago by my count." He laughed bitterly, unaware that the universe had moved on without him. "I'm still waiting for your call, remember?" Igor said. "We agreed. You'd buy the rest of the house." "I've changed my mind," Taras said calmly, standing firm in the doorway. From the kitchen, Rita called out sweetly, "Who is it, darling?" Igor's head jerked up, his face twisting in disbelief when he saw her, alive, radiant, and visibly pregnant. How?" he stammered. Taras stepped forward, his voice low and steady. "That's my wife now." He leaned in, his words sharp and clear. "And if I ever see you around here again, you won't live to tell the story. You know I have nothing left to lose." The menace in his voice was undeniable. Igor, suddenly pale, stumbled back and fled into the night. Rita peeked out, worried. Taras turned to her, his eyes softening instantly. She rushed into his arms, hugging him tightly. In that embrace, she knew she was safe, she was loved, she had a future. And sometimes life, despite all its cruelty, finds a way to heal even the deepest wounds. If you felt even a spark of hope through Rita's journey, I warmly invite you to subscribe and stay with us. Beautiful stories are just beginning. And before you go, there's something truly remarkable you might want to discover. Recently, scientists have found a mysterious purple shell from nature that can help triple the amount of fat the body burns during sleep without strict diets or intense exercise. The secret? It's waiting for you in the description of this video. Take a look. You deserve to feel as alive, as renewed as Rita does now. Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful.